We are approaching race week. We are at day 8 on our Dopey countdown. And today we are going to be talking about what race week run should feel like. And if you've been listening to this series for any length of time, you should know that I'm a big fan of taper and race week should feel easy. So let's talk about that. We're on taper, and pretty soon in the next couple of days, we're gonna start flipping from taper to race prep, and there is a difference, right? There is a difference. Neither of them are super hard, but there is definitely a difference between the two, and we'll talk about that in a future episode. I think that maybe in about 2 days or so. So you got this all mapped out for y'all. This is not off the cuff. So your runs should not feel magical this week. They should not feel fast. They should not be impressive. They should be easy. They should impress no one. Well, maybe your children. Or if your spouse doesn't get off the couch, maybe they're impressed. But otherwise, they should just be unimpressive. It's the end of the year. If you're on Strava, right now they've got the Strava roast thing going on. Strava should be roasting those runs pretty good. All right. What they are not fitness builders. We are not getting stronger this week. You are not gaining endurance this week. You are not proving anything to anyone, including yourself. Hard efforts don't build fitness. And let me repeat that, like hard efforts during the normal season when we're training, they absolutely have a purpose. Every training plan includes speed work, hard work, long work, short work, easy work. And each one of those has a place and a purpose. But 8 days outside of your first start line, they do nothing but steal your freshness. And what I mean by that is they steal the fitness that you have, the race readiness that you have. And do you really want to waste that race readiness on a run, or do you want to save it for the bling? And when you're out there doing your 30-minute, 45-minute, whatever your runs are right now, keep that in the back of your mind. I'm not getting any bling for today's run. And if Coach Joe was my coach, she'd probably yell at me. Okay, I don't really yell at my athletes, but you get the point. Okay, so what are they? Why are we still doing runs, right? Why aren't we just sitting on the couch right now? If everything is supposed to be so easy and boring and I feel lazy right now, they're check-ins. They're not tests. They're check-ins. They're check-ins with your body. They keep your legs loose. And depending on when you travel and how you travel and your age and your fitness level and general health, those shakeout runs, we call them, they serve a purpose. It shakes the travel out. It shakes the sleepiness out. It shakes a lot of things out of your body. Make sure that things are moving again, that you're not stiff, get your breathing all back into line. And Florida, well, what do we know about Florida? Well, we know that the race is in Florida. It's in Central Florida, and it tends to be humid in Central Florida, regardless of the temperature. And that humidity can cause the air to feel either really heavy and thick in our lungs, or it can have the opposite effect. And when the temperature drops below the dew point, it can cause us to feel even colder than it actually is, right? It can make us feel like there's a wind chill, even when there's not a wind chill. So getting out there, doing these runs, ideally you're outside. Like if you are on property or you're in Florida, do them outside, even if it's chilly out, because it's acclimating your body to the environment, which is super important come race day. I know for me, if I don't get those runs in down in Florida, I mean, it's especially bad at springtime, surprise, but even Dopey weekend, that 5K, it's kind of miserable because it's all about acclimating my lungs. And if you have asthma, it's that much worse. So it also reinforces confidence, right? At this point, you haven't had a long run in a couple of weeks, hopefully at least 1 week, and your body is maybe feeling a little bit heavy, and maybe you feel like you don't have it in you, or you're not as fit as you were 2 weeks ago. These serve to kind of reinforce that you actually are. Just because you're not doing the long stuff doesn't mean that you're not still at that same fitness. All right, so your legs feel heavy. Maybe they don't, but if they do, that is absolutely nothing to worry about. It's normal. It's normal. It's your body recovering. If you traveled, it's the travel still being in your legs. And if you flew, flying can, for some people, add a lot of stress to our body that takes a couple of days to shake out. All right. When you run, if it feels forced, like you get out there and you're like, I'm not having this, like nothing feels good about it, cut it short. You're not winning any awards by going out there. And, if you had a 45-minute run and you make it 28 minutes in, who cares? You got out there and you achieved the point of the run. The point of the run was to get you out, get you moving, and start getting things working again. What works for someone else might not work for you, right? And as with my athletes, as we get closer to race day, the schedule becomes more guidelines than actual workouts, right? Especially if you're doing something for the first time, because you don't really know how your body is going to react to certain things, especially with travel. All right. If it feels really easy, don't push it. Like, you're trotting around and maybe your threshold pace is like an 8-minute pace. Could be 12, could be 16, could be 2. Doesn't matter. Well, 2 might be pushing it, but you get the point. So if your threshold pace is 8, these runs are probably at 10 or 10:30. If your threshold pace is at 14, these are probably at 16 or 17. It's going to feel easy. Just deal with it. It's going to feel like a fast walk, perhaps. It's okay. The point is that you're out there and you're moving. And easy is exactly right. If you get back and you're a sweaty mess and your quads hurt or your hamstrings hurt or your ankles hurt or your butt hurts, you probably went too far and you probably pushed too hard. So here's what I want you carrying into race week. Confidence matters more than pace. You want to walk into the 5K, the 10K, the half, the full, and think to yourself, I got this. And everything you're doing right now is to prime your body so that you do have it. You're not earning extra points because you did the fastest shakeout runs. And in fact, those around you who are watching you do it are looking at you and saying, I wonder if they're running this weekend. And if they are, they probably shouldn't be running like that. I have definitely been out there doing my shakeout runs at, my easy pace and seeing people lap me, going around the lake at the Resort Regis. And, thoughts going through my head is like, good luck on race day. You are going to be so sore. You really don't win anything by squeezing one more hard effort in. We've been through this before. Just don't do it. I mean, if you want to get a couple of accelerations in, go for it, but don't hurt yourself. And don't take too much out. If it makes you feel good to go do, 100 yards in the middle at a higher intensity, like no one's going to stop you. You are going to win your race by arriving calm, rested, and trusting the work that you've done, trusting the plan that you've completed, and trusting that you've got this. That confidence is well earned at this point. You've put the work in, and your job is not to impress anyone, not yourself, not your spouse, not your kids, no one. And if you're like me and you have teenage kids who are on the high school track team, they absolutely are going to look at you and be like, "Why are you so slow?" And that's when you say, "Because I'm running 48.6 whole ass miles and you're not," and that's okay. Take pride in that. It is a big undertaking, and I want you to show up to the start line feeling the best that you can. All right. Your job's absolutely to protect the energy that you have and to continue to build that bank. And we'll talk more in another episode about carb loading and kind of some effective ways of doing that versus like what you see on the internet. So we are close to wrapping up. Here's some quick takeaways that are easy to remember. This week, your runs should be short, not long. They should be easy, not fast, calm, not forced. If you can't speak at a conversational pace for your entire run, then you're doing it too fast. Okay. Pay special attention to hydration. We are in Florida. If you're not from Florida, the way you approach hydration might change. And of course, the weather is super unpredictable this time of year. So it might actually be cold on some races and warm on others. So be prepared to adjust. Okay. Pay attention to your sleep. You can't really bank sleep, but you can do your best so you're not showing up in the days before the race totally fatigued and worn out. So try to do your best to get whatever sleep you can get. And I know it's hard once you get down there. There's park days, there's family, there's all sorts of draws on your attention. Disney is really good at that. That is what keeps them in business, but try your best to maintain your own schedule. All right. Make sure that you're fueling properly. And that doesn't just mean your gels. That also means like what you're eating now. Now is not the time to be on a diet or to start a diet, I should say. Maybe wait until the day after the race to start your new diet. Right now, make sure that you are putting fuel in your body to power your muscles and provide the energy stores that you are going to need and manage your stress. Walking into race weekend with a lot of stress does not always make for a good race experience. So do your best to keep the stress down. Again, if today's run felt slow and awkward, you did it right. You're tapering correctly. And I got news for you. Tomorrow, we're going to continue to talk about race topics. We're going to talk tomorrow about not needing more training, needing more calm in your life, and how to deal with the anxiety that you're probably feeling right about now. And with that, be fierce, be you, and I will see you tomorrow for episode 7. All right. Good night.